Here is your full YouTube script. If you have been waiting for good news about studying in Australia, then stop whatever you are doing right now, because what you are about to hear could completely change your plans for 2026. There is a major update that thousands of international students have been waiting for, and if you miss even one part of this video, you could end up making a costly mistake that delays your dream by an entire year. So stay with me, because this is one of the most important videos you will watch this year. Let me start by asking you something. Have you been sitting at home, scrolling through immigration forums at midnight, wondering if Australia is even still worth applying to? Have you been worried about visa rejections, longer processing times, complicated new rules, and whether there are even enough spots left for students like you? If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. Hundreds of thousands of students across South Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, and the Middle East have been asking the same questions. And today, we have real answers. Australia's government has officially announced its national planning level for 2026, and the number is 295,000 new international student commencements. That is an increase of 25,000 additional student places compared to 2025. Study Australia. Let that sink in for a moment. 25,000 more seats. That is not a small adjustment. That is Australia telling the world, loudly and clearly, that it wants more international students, and it is making serious room for them. This is the good news you have been waiting for, and there is more coming, so keep watching. Now, before we go any deeper, let me tell you exactly what we are going to cover today. We are going to talk about what this July 2026 intake update really means for you, how the new visa processing system works, what mistakes students are making right now that are costing them their applications, the exact financial requirements you need to meet, how long your visa will take to process, and what you need to do right now if you want to make it into the July 2026 intake. This is a complete roadmap, and I have done all the research so you do not have to. Let us talk about why the July intake is such a big deal, especially right now. The July intake in Australia is actually known to have lower competition than the February intake, and it also offers flexible entry for students who missed the first round earlier in the year, AEC overseas. So if you did not make it into the February 2026 cohort, or if you are just finishing your exams right now, the July window is literally built for you. This intake is also called Semester 2, or the mid-year intake, and it gives international students a genuine second chance to begin their studies in Australia mid-year without losing an entire academic year. Upgrad. That flexibility alone is worth a lot, and here's something even more practical. If you are completing your current academic program in June, the July intake allows you to continue your education without any long gap period. You finish your degree or diploma at home, and within weeks, you are starting your next chapter in Australia. Aus studies, no wasted months, no sitting around wondering what to do next. You move forward, and you move forward fast. Now let us talk about the system that controls how your visa application gets processed, because this is where a lot of students are making serious mistakes. The national planning level is not a cap or a hard limit on student numbers. It is a prioritization system for student visa applications. Study Australia. This is a critical distinction that most students and even some consultants completely misunderstand. Just because a university has used up a certain portion of its allocation does not mean your application gets rejected. It means the speed at which your application is processed changes. And in the world of student visas, speed is everything. Under the new Ministerial Direction 115, which came into effect from November 2025, offshore student visa applications are now assessed using a traffic light priority model based on each university's ability to manage its approved enrollment cap. If the institution you apply to is using below 80% of its allocation, you are in the green zone and get the fastest processing. If the institution is between 80 and 115%, you are in the amber zone and get standard processing. If they are above 115%, you fall into the red zone and face slower processing. IDP education. This means the university you choose is not just an academic decision anymore. It is a visa strategy decision. If you pick a university that is already close to capacity, you could be waiting much longer than your classmates who chose a different institution. This is one of the biggest mistakes students are making right now, and nobody is talking about it loudly enough. But here is more good news. Starting from 6th of March 2026, Australia's visa processing system has undergone its most significant reform in over a decade. The government has introduced standardized processing targets, a new centralized digital tracking platform, and artificial intelligence-enabled triaging to replace the previously opaque and unpredictable wait times that used to drive students absolutely crazy. Australian Visa Office. Remember when you used to submit your application and then just wait and wait and wait some more with no idea if anyone had even opened your file? Those days are going to be over. There is now an 8-week target for processing student visa subclass 500 applications, and a new platform provides real-time visibility into your application status. Australian Visa Office. That is a massive improvement, and it means that if you apply right now for the July intake, you have a very realistic chance of having your visa in hand well before your course begins. Now let us talk money, because this is where things get serious. As of the latest rules, you must demonstrate that you have at least AUD 29,710 per year to cover your living costs, tuition fees, travel costs, and health cover. IMA Global. That is the baseline. If you are bringing a partner along, you need an additional AUD 10,394. And for each dependent child, add another AUD 4,149 on top of that. These are not suggestions. These are hard requirements, and failing to show sufficient funds is one of the most common reasons visa applications get delayed or rejected. Students often underestimate this figure or show funds that do not look stable or credible to the visa officer. Do not let that be you. The visa application fee itself can range between AUD 1,600 and AUD 2,000. IMA Global. So factor that into your budget planning as well. And beyond the money, you also need to meet English proficiency standards. The minimum overall IELTS score required for the visa is 6.0, though for foundation or pathway programs it is 5.5, and for packaged ELICOS courses it drops to 5.0. IMA Global know which category your program falls into, because submitting the wrong score band could immediately flag your application. Let us also talk about one of the most important changes to the student visa process that has quietly caught thousands of students off guard. Students who are on visitor visas or temporary graduate visas can no longer switch to a student visa from within Australia. Applications must now be made offshore. IDP education. If you are already in Australia on a different visa and you are thinking you can just walk into a migration agent's office and convert your visa, that option is gone. You would need to leave Australia and apply from your home country. This is a rule that has blindsided many students, and the consequences of not knowing it can be severe, including being out of status or having to leave the country unexpectedly. And speaking of the genuine student requirement, let us spend a moment here because this is another area where applications are falling apart. There is now a stronger genuine student assessment process that requires a higher quality of preparation. It is not about luck anymore. Stronger statements, higher financial proof, and stricter English benchmarks are now being applied to student visa applications for courses starting in July 2026. AEC Overseas. The days of submitting a vague statement of purpose and hoping for the best are completely over. Visa officers want to see that you have a clear, logical reason for choosing this specific course in Australia, that it connects to your academic background, and that it makes sense for your future career goals. If your statement of purpose reads like a generic template, it is going to raise red flags. With the new automated assessment engine prioritizing complete and well-organized files, even small errors can be interpreted as integrity issues that could put your long-term migration goals at risk. Australian Visa Office. This is not the time to cut corners. A poorly prepared application does not just get delayed. In some cases, it can result in a refusal that follows you in future visa applications. Now, let us talk about what you should actually do right now if you are serious about the July 2026 intake. Applications for the July intake typically open in February and close between March and May, depending on the university. Upgrade. So, the window is open right now, and for many universities, it is closing very soon. If you have not started your application, you need to start today. Not this weekend. Not after Eid. Today. Visa processing should start immediately after you receive your confirmation of enrollment, which means getting your university offer first is the critical first step. Upgrade. Know your provider's NPL status. If they are near capacity, your application may fall into a slower processing queue, and planning early gives you a smoother experience. Nomad Credit Research, which universities are in a good position under the new traffic light system. Choose wisely, gather your financial documents early, make sure your genuine student statement is specific and compelling, and monitor your IME account actively once your application is submitted. Students from specified countries in the Pacific and Timor-Leste, Australian government scholarship holders, certain foreign government scholarship holders, and students moving from recognized pathway providers or TAFE institutes to public universities will retain fast priority visa processing and will not even be counted in the university's NPL allocation. Study Australia. If you fall into any of these categories, you are in an even stronger position, so make sure you are using that advantage. The bottom line is this: Australia is not closing its doors. It is actually opening them wider. But the rules are smarter, the process is more structured, and the system rewards students who are prepared and serious. If you walk in with a complete, strong, honest application, the pathway to Australia in July 2026 is very much open for you. So here is what I want you to do right now. If this video helped you understand something that you were confused about before, give it a like right now. It tells us you want more content like this. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell because we cover student visa updates, immigration changes, and study abroad news every single week. And drop a comment below telling us which country you are applying from and what course you are planning to study. We read every single comment, and your question might become our next video. Your dream of studying in Australia is still very much alive. Make sure you are not the one who misses it because of something that could have been avoided. Stay informed, stay prepared, and we will see you in the next one.